What's up, guys? Doobie Damage here, showing you a new aggro mage deck. For those of you that don't know, I started playing Hearthstone a little bit later than most people after Nax, after like Freeze Mage was already nerfed and all that shit. And by then there was already a few decks like established as like good decks to ladder with, and then things that just didn't work anymore, like Freeze Mage or like a Shadow Form Priest or something like that. So those are actually the things that I would try to do, because whenever you play predictable decks, they're kind of easy to counter. So I always like to play things that people generally won't expect. Because as you guys know, I'm real into Warrior. That's what I spend most of my time with, is Warrior. But before I played Warrior, I played a lot of Mage. And right before the expansion came out, I kind of started playing this aggro Mage deck, and I was having some success with it. And now that the expansion's out, the aggro Mage deck is even more viable. And this deck there's like this one card, Unstable Portal, which basically by turn 2 you'll know if you've already won the game. Like, it just does some crazy shit. There's a lot of like there used to be Mad Bombers and Matter Bombers in this deck too, and there's like, you know, Mad, Unstable, Matter, all these things. So that's why it's called Bitches Be Crazy. That's the only reason, really. But I took out the Matter Bombers just because I've been experimenting with some stuff. There's two different play styles that you would need to utilize when playing this deck. One, if you're playing against like a warrior, the game's not lost, actually. It's just super important that you keep your Snow Chugger alive. Also against like Mech Rogue. The issue against like Mech Rogue is that they're able to remove your board with their weapon while still flooding the board with their minions. So if you can keep, and against Warrior too, if you can keep the hero frozen, you have a huge advantage. I took I put Harvest Golem in here because you have like this card right here, Goblin Blast Mage, and we also, you see, we run 2 Bomb Lobbers. And the reasoning behind these 2 cards, or these 4 cards rather, is that you're able to build up a board and remove theirs at the same time. But Goblin Blast Mage does need a mech on board to for its battle cry to take effect, which is why Harvest Golem is really good. If they remove your minion turn 3, you still have another mech on board just to activate that Goblin Blast Mage. Micro Machine is super important too, because if it gets out of hand, like if they're not able to remove it, it just starts doing some stupid fucking damage. But you're actually hoping that they remove it, because what this means is turn 2, if they remove it, then their board is still empty. So it's not necessarily there to keep them to do damage, but it's more so there to from the beginning put them in a defensive mentality. You know, from the beginning make them kind of feel like they're behind, like oh shit, like, you know, it's really kind of to fuck with the head a little bit. But like I said, if they don't remove it, it just goes so out of control. And it just does serious damage. Our only card draw is Jeeves, which is good because we use a shit ton of cards every turn. So we would generally trigger him. And Dr. Boom, I've been experimenting with. 1, the bots are mechs, so I can trigger Blast Lunge with. 2, it's a potential extra 8 damage, potentially. You know, depends what they trigger. But it's just a really good card. I really enjoy it. So let's do some games on ladder. I've been tearing through ladder with this deck. And it's just super versatile. I mean, if you know how to play it against what, it's a really good deck. I mean, it has some weaknesses, but you know, I've beaten quite a bit of control warriors, but they still have the advantage. But it can be done. Another thing about control warrior, that's actually, I have a card in there that is just in there to give me an advantage versus control warrior, and that is the Spider Tank. It doesn't die to the Fiery War Axe, which is nice. So it still will leave me a mech on board to trigger my Goblin Blast Mage, or just to have some board presence. If this is Zoo, it could be a little bit difficult. So let's see what we get here. So we're gonna always mulligan for Mana Worms, Unstable Portal, Snow Chuggers. All of these are good things to mulligan for. Mirror Image is good too. Buys you some time. But I'm still this deck is still pretty new. So I'm still trying to decide what is better, to Unstable Portal from the beginning or to go ahead and build up some board presence. And it's much easier to determine when you know who you're playing. So like if we're playing a slower opponent, like a Handlock or like a Control Warrior, I would Unstable Portal. That's why I hate Warlock though, is you never really know what they're going to do. Are they going to be Handlock? Are they going to be Zoolock? So it's kind of hard to do or to determine. But because we do have the mirror images to buy us time next turn if we need it, I'm going to go ahead and Unstable Portal. Just because this card can literally win you the fucking game. It is so crazy. Like right now. What the fuck is that? Like, what is he gonna, whatever. That's just unreal. Hopefully it'll pull out a Soulfire early, Now, I think Handlock is kind of on the decline now. I don't personally play Handlock, but I'm just thinking that Handlock should be super intense right now, even more strong, because, you get down to where your fucking giants are free, and then that same turn you drop 2 heal bots and you're back to full health. I don't know. So I think Handlock could be really dangerous now too. So we'll see what happens here. You do kind of want to play around this Hellfire and like these Shadow Flames. So Spider Tank is also good against Hellfire. So I have a feeling that this could potentially be to like to eventually Shadow Flame it. So we're gonna remove it. And there's no need to use these just yet, so I'm not going to, because he's obviously struggling to stay up. So we kind of want to play against around Shadow Flame, but we are so close to lethal. We're just going to go for it. Might not be the best move, because it'll also kill my Blast Mage. But we're just going to go for it. So that's okay, because we have lethal. And that's kind of why we just went for it. So there you go, turn 6 win, like no problem. He hit us one time. I mean, you just will fly through the ladder with